Again. Okay, well, I rebooted, shut down all the apps, and I'll start my stream again. I shut down all the apps on the AS Rock and rebooted it, and now the USB cam seems to be working okay, the endoscope cam. I don't know what was going on there, but got it set up over there so I can show the um, Lenovo i5. I'm going to open it up and everything, and I decided to just start again with that. That was such a mess. So let me get my wireless mic going. Okay, we should be on the wireless mic now. And I haven't checked to make sure my stream's all good. I mean, I can see it, but let's make sure it's playing sound and everything. Okay, so now I can go over there and I'll start on cam 2 just like it is, and then I'll get the endoscope added in there in a minute. So I'll move it out of the way there. Okay, so this is the top of the Lenovo i5. It's got little stickers, aren't they pretty? And here's what the front of it looks like. DVD drive, USB, audio out for headphones or line out, and mic input, USB, power button. It's VGA, DVI, power from a brick style power supply, 12 volts. Kind of, it's 12 volts, not 19 or 20, 18 to 20 like a laptop. And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 more USBs, 5, 6 USBs, Ethernet, and it's gigabit Ethernet, and then it has line in, line out, and mic. And there's a spot for one, what is that? I forgot what that's for. That's a cover, but right there's where you could have one VGA card. I guess it's kind of it's a narrow one, the smaller kind. I'll open it up. This is generally used in enterprise. They usually have they used to call them wind terms when Dell made something they called wind terms. I have 3 of those there, all given to me by the same guy, Jeff. But they were 1 gigahertz. Now I won't go all into those. I kind of got sidetracked with telling about those. But this one is 4 cores, 4 gig of RAM, but only 256 megabyte of onboard video memory. That's its one big shortcoming. Of course, it wasn't meant to be a home PC and play videos and stuff. I don't mean, play videos. Like YouTube videos you got to reboot it every 1 to 2 hours if you're just sitting there watching YouTube videos, or Amazon's even harder on it. So, they said that HTML5 was going to use a lot less resources than Flash, and I hated Flash, but it was nothing but trouble for me. But it's not much different as far as resource usage, except for you don't have it just using up. Flash used to use up. Went through a couple of 3 years there where it seemed like forever, where it kept using up 100% of my CPU power, and I'd have to keep. Well, I think what it was at that time when there was so much Flash on web pages is you might be watching a video. If you're watching a video on a page that had lots of advertisements, that'll be Flash, is what I'm saying, and it was just altogether too much. So anyway, there's a switch here, and that opens it up like a book. I don't know if you have to hold on to it. I think you do. No, you don't have, but if you let go of it, it'll shut again. Oh, I see. It's way up where you can see. See the way it is? It makes it hard to realize how to grab a hold of it to open it up. But it's the laptop in a box. It's kind of cool, really. There's the VGA. I mean, not VGA, the PCI slot. I don't know what I said a while ago. PCI slot. Oh yeah, it would be coming out the back here, but it's definitely not a full width. So I had forgotten that. It has one extra because it has an SATA going to the. Okay, there's an SATA. Oh, there's another one. There's one for the hard drive right there. and then this one goes up here to the DVD drive, and then here's one more, and that's why I thought I might could put another hard drive in it, because there is space in there, but you don't have, I don't have a caddy, and this caddy doesn't look like you could just add another hard drive to it, you know, this plastic, they call them caddies a lot, hard drive caddies, but anyway, it is kind of a snap-in. I've seen them before. I think I don't think I ever took this one out, but you screw the hard drive to it, and then it'll snap in and out of here. But you can put one in there, but without kind of doing some work, you're not going to be able to, you know, secure it. I've got all kinds of hard drive brackets and stuff. I probably can do it. We'll see. I just don't know. One thing I don't know with that brick style, laptop style power supply, if it can handle another whole hard drive. Oh, and the heat. This is it has a fan, one fan right here, and you know, cooling fins right here over the processors. And of course, in hard drive, it makes some heat. I've messed around in desktops. You can really tell the difference. You can watch. You can look in the BIOS and see the temperature. We can do that in here, and I guess that's what I'd have to do. Or yeah, I mean, I usually use the BIOS because there's not. I don't know. You know, I bet you can do it in the command line. I think I saw that not too long ago, but I haven't seen any GUI apps for monitoring the temperature and the voltage and stuff in Linux. But I think you can do it in the command line, or in a kind of a CLI app. You know, it's kind of got a little bit of graphics, kind of like old Windows. Early Windows 3.1 or just before Windows 3.1 type of graphics. But anyway, I wanted to kind of show the close-up of what I was talking about with the hard drive situation. And so let me get down here to, we'll split it between the endoscope and the, that's my pillow that I put my neck on. That's kind of a cool looking shot. The blue lights off of the machine, the AS Rock, it has red and blue lights on it. On the front of it, they're shining, reflecting off of stuff here, and making a blue glow on my little pillow. Okay, so let's see what we can do about that. Now, there's the hard drive, and it's so next to impossible to get the, and that is going to shake on me, isn't it? Okay. It's next to impossible to get the, thought I'd be able to, maybe be able to read it. It's next to impossible to get it lined up. It looks to me like it's, okay, there we go. If I turning the camera is next to impossible is what I'm trying to say. Turning the object is not too hard. Let's see. I don't want this falling off of here though. Now then. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. I think it might even be right side up. Yeah, it is. Okay, let's see what we got. Everything's backwards. It's like working in the mirror. Okay, if it would quit moving. If I quit bumping, I thought if I quit bumping it, it would quit moving. I've got a lot of cables sticking out there. It's a stiff, bendable cable. And I did that so that it, you know, I wouldn't bump into the legs. But now it won't hold still. Okay, let's see if I can hold it still. Okay, that's all the, okay, 250 gigabyte, 1700 RPM. It's a Seagate. This is the one that came in, and I have more drives like this, you know. I mean, I got 2 more 250 gigabyte drives. And so, oh, I have my preview playing over there. So here's that caddy, up close. And see, there's the plastic release. And I think I will take it loose. Oh, but before I do all that, I want to just show the, see, when I call it a laptop in a box, I don't think I'm really exaggerating too much, because there's the memory. It takes laptop memory, and can't remember what it has in it. I don't know if I have too much light turned on or what. I guess I have too much light turned on. No, it's the headlights in the room. I don't think I need the light anyway. Okay, so that should be able to make me be able to read that. With my preview being, I didn't want to do full. I didn't want to do just full. The way I knew it would be moving around so much, it'd drive you crazy. So. I guess the light doesn't help. Well, not on that, yeah. Drive you crazy, so I didn't want to do that, but it's a little too dim. I think it's DDR. Well, that will lean on my tripod, on my mic stand for my. So it'll be crooked, but whoops. I wanted to just get one little good view of that memory. I can't read it. My preview's too small over there, and since I'm using the split screen. So anyway, that's the memory, laptop memory. I was going to try to read everything on there, but I can't. So I want to go ahead and I'll show the. Now there's that SATA slot. It just comes outside of that, and there's the rest of the case. There's the PCI slot. And then I've looked it up before. It's just a standard PCI, because I was thinking, you know, it only has 256 megabyte of onboard video memory, and that's the one thing that really makes it not so much fun to use for a daily use, which is a bit, but it is the fastest machine I have. I mean, I just got through building my mom an 8-core with 8 gig of RAM out of that, upgrading her machine, but I still haven't done that for myself. So anyway, I thought I can't put a video card in it because that's a regular PCI slot. It's not, you know, and they used to make PCI video cards, but the biggest I looked them up, the biggest I could find that they ever made was 512 megabytes, which would be double what I got, but it's also going to use more power than you can get into that little 12-volt power supply, you know, that brick power supply. So now how do you make that come out? Let's see. I thought I had this all in a way so that, let me try rebending this because it's not working like I have it. It's just flopping everywhere. Yeah. What are we going to end up with there? Now it'll end up being more blurry. Well, let's get it out, sticking out some so it's not so high in the air. I think it'll quit moving as much if I do that. And do something here. Oh, here we go. Yeah. It's really tricky. It's cool. This camera thing is pretty cool, but it's also really tricky to get it to do what you want. Okay, and get it to stay there. This, you usually just bend them and pull up on them. I guess that's not where you do it. There we go. That's all you do is just snap it out. Well, my SATA cable is keeping it from coming out. I keep thinking it's plugged in and I gotta be careful, but there we go. I think if I get that SATA cable off of there, it'll come out. It still doesn't want to come all the way out. It's really pretty. I mean, it's a little fidgety, but it's really pretty easy to do. See, so there's plenty of room for another. That's a thin, one of those thin hard drives too. It's not as thick as a lot of them. Let me get a couple off of my shelf here. Hey, I have the perfect examples, I think. So the one I was thinking about putting in there. Now here's a thin one and a thick one. You can see right quick how much difference there is. So I think either one would fit in there. And this one is actually an IDE. Didn't remember that. Oh, I can't use the IDE then. I don't have IDE in this machine. So that one's out. That's the one that has Fedora 26. And it's a 250 gigabyte. Got my notes on there. But yeah, it's a Western Digital 250 gigabyte. So it's getting a little older now, isn't it? And yeah, so that's the one I was actually thinking I would use and put Windows 7 on it. That's not going to work. Now this one is Mom's Fedora 14 hard drive, and it is a Seagate. Did we lose our USB? All of a sudden it's frozen. It's a Seagate 250 gigabyte, but I didn't want to delete this stuff on here until after I was completely done, because this is her whole system that still works perfectly if it was put on her old, put it back together with her old motherboard. And her only thing she's missing from her old system now is the power supply, because that's the power and the box. But of course, I was thinking I would put all that other system, that dual core system, back together in another box. I have other boxes with, I think I've lost my, let me look at my, yep, so USB quit working again. I'm going to quit jacking with it. I don't know why it's doing that. Really don't. This machine, now there is one thing, and sadly, probably the most logical problem here, maybe so I haven't used this machine very much at all. I'll just go back to that view. Since I built it, you know, I haven't, I mean, I'm fixing to start over, you know, with another Fedora 28, but I haven't really, you know, ran it through any paces or anything. So, let me see. I went to grab that hard drive, and instead of getting it, I knocked it off and stack of hard drives into the shelf. Okay, so this one, yeah, there's not, other than taking a drill and drilling some holes through this plastic. I mean, you could do that, I guess. I didn't unplug that because I didn't, oh, okay. I just realized something. I don't have power for another hard drive. I don't think this is going to be something I can do. Let me turn this so that I can see what I'm doing. But, oh, what I was going to say is that 8300 processor in the, I better hook that up, because I'll never be able to see to hook it up with it down in there. Getting it out was one thing, hooking it up quite another. It's dark. Oh, yeah, it's dark. To me, everything looks dark, even though there's plenty of light in here. Okay, but there. Okay, now I think I've got it. Yeah, I don't think there's another power cable in there. There's another one for the, yeah, it doesn't, so it doesn't have the provision to put another drive. I mean, of course it didn't, you know, it doesn't in the caddy area, but it doesn't have the power for it. So I don't think it would run another drive. You could, you know, eliminate the DVD, but sometimes you really need that. So that would be the only thing. Oh, I think that's a VGA power cable. Regular, no it's not, it's SATA. And then it's a SATA drive. So you could put a hard drive in place of this. I guess that's what I had decided, that you could do that. Of course you could just, well, I wouldn't really, I mean, that is, oh I see, that's a cover. I was gonna say, that drive doesn't look like it comes out very easy, but it has a cover on it that helps hold it in there. And it wouldn't be real easy, but wouldn't be real hard either. But yeah, that would be the only way to power it. So even though there's another SATA, I kept thinking, why isn't there more? I thought maybe there'd be another power hanging around in there somewhere. Let's make sure I'm not missing it. Don't believe I am. Yeah, I took this out in the garage earlier and blew it out, or vacuumed it out, because it was still dark out. It was about 5 in the morning when I finally got out there to do it, but started at about 3:30, get 2 or 3 to do all this, but I've had nothing but video problems. So it's take really 5 times longer to mess with the video than it has been to just now actually getting started, you know. But I did vacuum it out, because it was pretty full of dust. It's been running a long time, using it every day, but I hadn't vacuumed it out. So get my magnifying glass, because make sure I'm not missing something. And now I can actually, so that I can see. Everything's just a bit blurry to me, even with these glasses on. So that is definitely the case. So, you know, and I had in mind, actually, when I bought my 5 terabyte backup drive, I thought I was just going to take it out of its case and put it in here. And just have it be, you know, divided up so that I have like a gigabyte for, I mean, 1 terabyte for operating system and the rest for backup. But then I decided that it was really better to have it just a backup drive, and it worked really well. I have had the NTFS file system get broken about 3 or 4 times, but I was easy to fix. But that's a bad, scary thing, you know. All your backups are gone all of a sudden, and you know, until you fix it, you don't know if it's coming back. So that NTFS, I always knew that NTFS was easy to break, because it was one of the first operating systems I learned to work on. I mean, file systems I learned to work on back when I ran XP. And when it first came, ever since it first came out, you know. But so it got a little speaker up there, a little case speaker. But that right there is another SATA, but I'm not sure what good it would be without a way to get power. That's what I keep looking at. Looking, so why do they provide that, but not provide, there is enough dust in here to get to me. Not provide another power cable. Sometimes they're really wrapped up well, and you think they're not there, but they are. I sure don't see one. Making sure I got everything plugged back in right. It's really nicely laid out, well tucked away, you know. Like desktops are usually pretty unruly looking, and like, I don't care if it's, you know, name brand or whatever, you know, they just got like a couple little cable ties of some sort, and, you know, kind of a, I've never cared that much about all that, but like people who build computers to make them look pretty inside, the desktops that mine don't, and the ones that I've gotten or, you know, mostly been given, and that were in stock condition, they weren't very pretty inside, whatever brand they were. But this one it's really laid out nice. It had been a long time since I had it open, so I'd forgotten what it looked like. Yeah, you could really just, if you wanted to have space in this thing, it'd make a great server. Quiet, doesn't, you know, and enough power, and quiet. But right now it's the only thing I got for my main machine. But I was thinking I would put Windows 7. I was thinking about putting Windows 7 on another hard drive, because I'll keep running into these times when I need Windows to do something. Mostly the only thing right now, and for the longest time, I really need it for is set up my easy to boot. And I've been using XP in a virtual machine, and that's been fine. But now that this machine, you know, well, I mean, the malware. The whole reason why I'm reformatting 3 machines, trying to get them all 3 done as quick as I can right now, is because an add-on that their website was serving up malware in Firefox, And addonbrowser.com is the site, and it was called Safe Web with Virus Total. It was supposed to, a link scanner, and so basically it kind of gave you the idea it was Virus Total's add-on, but it's not. I've used Virus Total for a long time, and when Firefox Quantum came out and they retired all the old add-ons, Virus Total's add-on wasn't there. It's called VTZilla, and so I found this one, and turns out it was all a trick. You know, I've investigated. I mean, the previous 15 or 17 videos or whatever is all about all that. So yeah, stay away from that add-on. So anyway, I'm trying to make darn sure everything's cleaned up. I'm reformatting, and I think I just got dust in my glasses, and I can't stand that. Okay, and I thought Windows 7 would make it really on here. You know, I'd have to do. I was going to dual boot it. I had it on this hard drive and divided in half, but it's just not big enough. You just don't have enough space that way for me. So I was going to just make one drive Linux and one drive Windows 7, but because it has Windows 7 Pro license, you know, I've got the tag on here somewhere, and but that idea of the two hard drives, it's going to be a no-go. I just keep on thinking, am I missing something? No power. So that would tell me that probably, you know, you wouldn't want to use, well, you could take, I don't know if I have one for the SATA power, but I may have one, you know, a Y, SATA Y, go from one SATA to two. You could do that. But with this power supply, it's down under my bed, so I don't want to get it out and show it. But it's not, you know, it doesn't have a lot of room to add stuff. So obviously they planned on you being able to add a PCI, one PCI, one half space, I guess you call it, PCI. So that means most of what I got wouldn't even fit in there. Only thing I know of that might fit in half spaces is some VGA card. I might have a VGA card or something, a video card, but it's not PCI. It's AGP or PCI, you know, 2 or whatever, 16X, stuff like that, 12X or whatever they are. I have. Let's see. I don't remember what all I have in that way. I don't have much in. Most of what I have in video cards are AGP. So anyway, I was looking at my preview and it didn't look like. Oh yeah, it's working. I was like, as everything froze up, that also I got to remember my laptop's behind. I didn't see anything moving, and that's because it's behind. All right, so yeah, I would say that, you know, forcing the issue and like adding a Y. If I don't think I actually have a VGA, I mean a SATA powered Y anyway. I have some kind of adapter. What is it? I have something for SATA power. I don't remember what it does. I don't think it's a Y. I think it goes from, it goes from Molex to SATA power. That's what it is. I got one or two of those. That's what I have. Okay. So, now I say that this thing has the video on the chip. I could be wrong because that looks more like a video. That looks like a heatsink for a video chip to me. So this may be before they started doing that. As a matter of fact, everybody, I've studied more on AMD chips and everything I have, but mom's dual core is an AMD. The 8-core is an AMD. 8300, and those are the ones I've always studied on, and I didn't study a lot on the, even though everything else I got's Intel. I don't think I have any other AMDs. I always studied on them because I planned on buying them because they're so much more cheaper for the power you can get, you know. I never thought I'd buy an i5, you know, processor, but I was given this, so, and that's the good thing about it. So this may be one of the, I don't remember when they switched over. I just now got to thinking, you know, the powerful, for sure the powerful video processors built in with the CPUs, that's just now, you know, coming out for both sides, AMD and Intel, so really becoming the thing, you know. And I don't remember when they started doing it. But this little chip right here, I mean, this little heatsink is on a chip that may very well be the video. I was looking at it trying to see how I would, I don't see how you get that off of there in an easy way. I guess you push down on that. That's really stiff. Well, that's good. I'm not going to take it off because, well, I mean, if I wanted to take it off and put some paste on it or something, I might. But I think it's been running great, so I don't want to. It's not overheating or anything. If it started acting up, look at the caps. I hadn't thought of that. It's running great. No signs of trouble. So, you know, if I thought the CPU paste was heatsink paste was drying up, then I would take them off and put some on there. But I don't want to do it just for the fun of it. Not since it's really not easy to get off. That one has a spring on it. It looks like you'd have to get some needle nose. Of course, you got all those little electronics down there you could bump into, and you could even short them out. I think those are the little bitty tiny surface mount stuff. And I try to learn about this stuff. I find it really interesting, but there's so much to know. I mean, I believe from what I kind of remember recently seeing them. I watch the videos by people like Dave, EV Blog and stuff, and some of the tiny stuff can actually be capacitors. And if you short one, then you short it to ground or something. Of course, it would discharge, but you could also short out, or whatever they are. You know, you might short them out. Is what I'm trying to say. There might be a capacitor charge close enough to where you're working, or one of them might be a capacitor. It might let go its charge, and it might go across your needle nose pliers and short out these little components, and then you screwed your nice little computer up. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to mess around for no reason. Yeah, as I've been saying lately, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so sticking a tool in something like this for no reason is a risk for no reason. If it's something a little older and not as nice, then I do it all the time. Don't think much about it, but I mean, I always try to be careful. Well, now I know why my camera got moved. I had leaned this up against it. See, it's moved again. The space is a lot wider there. That's what did it. It's me. It's not you, it's me. Okay, I want to make sure everything back together right. Yeah, no extra hard drive in here. I thought again, the other, last week or so, I thought my NTFS file system had broken on my backup drive, and I thought, well, I should have put that thing in there, because you hardly ever have a Linux file system. From ext, 2, 3, 4 LVMs, you hardly ever see them break. And the Linux, when it boots, it checks the file system every so often, every so many boots, and if there's anything wrong, it fixes it for you. So you don't have to, it's part of the way it works. You don't have to set that up. Well, I guess it might be default in all the distros. I don't think it's part of the Linux kernel. It might be. I don't think so. But, I mean, you can manually do it. I've done it plenty of times. I've had some broken and I've fixed them and stuff. And used graphic user apps to fix them. Usually they broke because of something I did, though. They all broke because of something I did. Except for maybe one drive that was kind of old and failing. It might have broken because of that. But, yeah, for years I thought some drives were bad and barely working. It turned out it was the power supplies in the system instead. Finally found out when they got bad enough you could tell it, you know. I didn't used to realize that power supplies would keep on working, but working very poorly for years, especially for say 6 months to a year, but they do. So if your drive is giving a lot of write errors and it passes, even if it passes its tests, and even if it says old, you know, imminent, well, not imminent failure, but old and beginning to get old, it doesn't mean for sure that it's, I'm looking at the memory, that doesn't mean for sure that it's the hard drive that's the problem. It may be the power supply that's making the hard drive not work right. I mean, it still may be old, and you know, but I've got drives that have been saying that for now 5 years or so, you know, that when you run a test on them and they still work. If you put them on a different machine with a good power supply, they don't act up and lose, you know, miswrite files and stuff. So that's what I'm trying to say. The memory is Ramexcel. It has a Lenovo sticker on the front of it. 2 GB PC3 10600. So it's 10. Can't say it right. 10600 speed. And there's 256 M64. There's a different sticker on this one, and it doesn't have all that information. It's kind of weird. But DDR3 is what, if I didn't say that, it's what it is. So, yeah, I've looked at the specs lots of times on the, you know, on the system. And I thought that I'd have to look at it again to know, right, you know, again, what, whether or not that video chip is on the CPU, same with the CPU, or if it's a separate one. It looks to me like it's separate, really. I can't imagine what else would need a big old heat sink like that, but a video chip. So, I guess that's the way you would want to set it up like it normally would set, and then shut it. I just keep on lingering over it because what I thought I remembered about it is quite a bit, you know, really quite a bit different from the last time I had it open. So, Thayer HD. I was looking at some of the words on the mono out. CPU fan. Huh, that's funny. CPU fan, but yet this fan in the back is really the CPU fan because it's got the heatsink connected, made to it. But there's a, you can add another fan. It's a 4-pin. I don't know how you'd mount it, but oh, that's what this extra section is on the back. There's for the PCI, and then this extra section here is for like serial ports and stuff. I'll close it so that I can turn it up without there. It's pretty neat. I mean, you could, this 12 volt, you could run this in your vehicle and have a, like if you had a van, that would be, well, I don't know. I don't have a quad-core laptop, but it's definitely more powerful than, way more useful than my dual-core laptops. More powerful. It doesn't make any noise. These things make so much noise when they get hot. That fan's driving me nuts. So there's a VGA. I keep saying that, can't think of serial ports and stuff. You could put serial ports in there. I didn't look, but there's probably a place to plug into the motherboard. I'm guessing. I mean, since those are on there, but that's what those knockouts are for serial ports or something on that order, that type of port. Yeah, see, they're the same basic shape as the VGA, a little bit different. This one's bigger than this one. So, and it could have been an option. I mean, maybe some, you know, like if companies ordered these, maybe they're using some older technology that needs a serial port. So these are the kind of things you see in, you see them all the time in hospitals and doctors' offices, but they also use them in, you know, hotels, whatever, things like that. Okay, so, and I've used it for a couple of years now, I guess, or more, and it's good. I didn't think, let's see. Oh, Lenovo. That it's about, you know, Lenovo bought out this these line of IBM stuff. It's kind of hard to tell what's what. And like I have the IBM desktop, it says IBM on the front. And this little, well, it's a single core with 2.4 gigahertz, and I turned it into my server. It's really quiet. It only has one fan in it. So I'm gonna leave that sitting there now because I'm trying to think of what it is I'm gonna do. Where is that sticker? Oh, it's on the side. I never did. I don't have a way to do it right now. I never did. I noticed that I always take pictures of my license stickers, so I don't have to. You know, I can see them to use them without having to. Usually, when you're installing on a computer, it needs to be in whatever spot. When me, it's in my rack. You know, and you can't just look at the sticker with it running. You know, you have to can't get it out of there with it all plugged up. So. Anyway, I had a picture of it, but it wasn't very good when you can just barely read it. So I thought I need to make better pictures. Well, I can still get a better picture. I had 2 digital cameras, a little Nikon that my buddy Lee gave me. He's a photographer, and he gave me, well, over the years, you know, he gave me an Olympus. It was like a 1.2 megapixel. It actually does okay, you know. I mean, and then the Nikon did, it's only 1.7 megapixel, and it did surprisingly well because of its real Nikon lens. But then it quit working. It just boot up or anything. The Olympus still works, but I don't hardly use it much anymore because these, you know, these phone cameras they'll do 5 megapixel stills, and then I think they're only around 2 megapixel video actually, but they'll do 1080p video though. So, but I am only doing 720p on these Wi-Fi because it's all I can stream on the Wi-Fi. But well, whenever if you want to use a camera app and save the video on the phone, you can do 1080p. You can do. I keep wanting to say 1024 by 768, but that's not the right one either. Anyway. I'm suddenly tired, but well, I guess I'm getting hungry. Yeah, because I ate a snack because I didn't want to quit and eat supper a couple hours ago. But I've actually been going hard since I started with this about 2 or 3 in the morning, and it's almost 9 now. So I'm really just worn out, ready to quit. So. I think I will quit, turn all this video junk off, and then I can put that back in the rack. And, you know, I made video of getting it out, but it didn't work because I added an extra camera to my setup here, and my network couldn't handle it. I don't know why. My new D-Link router, I got it because the signal was too weak in the living room, and with my TP-Link. But the TP-Link's let's see. I don't think it's a gigabit on the wired, but it's I think it was 750 or 800 megabits on the wireless. This one is, I think they say it'll get between 1200 and, I don't know if it's 1100 and 1200 or 1200 and 1400 on the Wi-Fi. It can get, you know, on the 5 gigahertz. It's, you know, both of them had 5 and 2.4 gigahertz. And, of course, I don't have any devices that can take advantage of that in a Wi-Fi. But in the wired, this Lenovo i5 has a gigabit onboard Ethernet, and then the ASRock motherboard is a gigabit Ethernet. But that's actually not working. And I don't know if I'm going to get it working or not, but some of those odd things like dropping the USB connection, I kind of went off track talking about that. Of course, it's not about... Well, it doesn't matter. I'm just talking about what's going on right now. Anyway, the 8300 does work fine. So unless the USB is going to keep crapping out, and it just may be that camera. I mean, I don't have trouble with it. I've never had it doing that on the Lenovo i5 though. So a lot of people, you know, when I was reading and researching, trying to see if it would even work, because it's not in the listed supported CPUs for that ASRock motherboard. Those CPUs weren't made yet when it came out. And people said, yeah, it'll work. And the gaming forums is really all I can find about that kind of thing. And of course, they want to overclock and everything. They said it'll work, but should you do it? You know, they said you shouldn't do it because the voltage regulator modules of VRMs will overheat and all this stuff. But they were talking about overclocking. So I finally decided, well, I'm not going to overclock it. And the box I have is big, open, and it has 3 fans, 3 really, you know, one of the really big fans, and then 2. Let's see. It has a side fan, CPU fan, and I actually bought a new one that's on there now. That's a good one, good high output. And then it has the 320 millimeter, I think it is, fan, the bigger ones. And it does run. It never gets hot. I mean, it makes heat. It makes this room warm up. It's 78.3 in here, and usually it just stays no higher than 78. I mean 77. This last few weeks in here with the air conditioner running good. But just that machine and the laptop running, and my server, I don't have the Lenovo i5 running, it's sitting right there. It's just sitting here at 78.3 right now. So, and it's been running for hours now, so long enough to build up some heat. But if I look at the temperature, you know, after it's like if I, several times I've gone in there and looked, and I can't remember the temperature, but it doesn't get hot. I've had a lot of older machines that got a lot hotter, and it stayed a lot hotter. Like my Pentium 4 when I had like three or so hard drives in it, and I think this 1.8 gigahertz that has Fedora 14 and it has 4 hard drives in it. I think it runs about 10 and 15 degrees hotter. It would, and it's the same case though. Same case as that one. I'd have to compare them, but anyway. Okay, so what all I'm going to do then, when I guess I'll be tomorrow before I even think about doing that, you know, working on it again. What I'll be doing then is, I just realized I have it upside down. No, I mean, I'm just sitting there like that, and I realized, okay, I was looking, I saw the little feet, the rubber feet, so that's how it actually lays. Okay, so I'll be reformatting it with Fedora 28. But first I'll have to go through, I mean, it gets backed up automatically, you know, every time I reboot it, as long as I leave it running long enough, for, you know, like it waits 10 or so minutes, 15 minutes before it tries to back up, and usually I don't shut it down. I just, usually once I've got it on, I keep it running plenty of time for it to do its backup. And if I'm thinking and I notice it, you know, I'll wait if I did want to shut it down. But, go ahead and get off this wireless mic now. Go back to the... Okay, I like to leave when I'm, you know, once I shut down a video, I like to leave it like that so that when I start up, I'm on the right mic, the one I want to be on. But made myself go blank doing that, but yeah, okay. Get a drink. I'm feeling like I'm gonna start coughing again. Yeah, okay, so that changes I thought maybe I would do that, but that changes that plan, and it's just not possible. I mean, it's possible, but it's just like the whole thing with the 8300. I could have got myself in trouble. There may be, it could be that processor is the reason that the onboard video gigabit Ethernet won't work. But I haven't had the chance to look and see. Well, maybe I just haven't found the right driver for it. It just didn't find it automatically, you know, like normal. And I mean, I kind of looked, but I didn't find anything on the ASRock website that would help me. Just Windows drivers, not Linux, you know. But and it doesn't have a Realtek chip. It's got some other kind of chip on it. So something that I don't know if I ever heard of it being.
Sorry. Anyway, I don't remember the name of the chip, but I just remember I didn't know. I didn't know anything much about it. Realtechs are really common in onboard chips, and actually, I was doing a bunch of reading about that, and I found out that that's kind of like it's the number one manufacturer of Ethernet chips, Realtek. So you'll find them in every brand, on an onboard, PCI, whatever. Probably in USB. I haven't ever even had a USB Wi-Fi. I mean, USB Ethernet adapter or Wi-Fi. Well, of course, Wi-Fi, that'd be different if it was Wi-Fi, but they do have USB Ethernet adapters. Some I've seen them. Anyway, so there could, if there turns out to be like the USB dropping out like that, if it did that on a drive, well, I haven't had any trouble. Let's look at my drive. Let me get over here before I go. I just realized. Let's see. So if I go to my drive, my backup drive, still just fine. It didn't drop out or anything. I'm not. I've been just manually backing up these videos. I've already gotten a pretty good list of videos on this system, but see, this one's the one that's on the top on the right here. That one there, that was the one I'm making right now, so I don't want to back it up right now. So what I've been doing is just, I don't have Lucky Backup set on here or anything, and I'm not going to set anything new up on here other than the OBS because I needed to use it, OBS Studio. But I'll just use the sync in here to back them up. But and I've done that several times, no problems. But you can just select just what you want, and then right-click, and then say synchronize selected. They may already be, well, there's some files there, see? So I can do them. It's pretty fast. It doesn't take too long. There's nothing super big in there because I haven't, I've had so much trouble I haven't made any long videos today. But I've been doing video probably longer. I got a feeling I've been going longer but not making long videos, which, long videos, people don't watch them anyway. So yeah, so I don't think it's a USB problem. I guess it's not working well with that camera. I haven't, I mean, I've used my Easy to Boot. I think I've put pretty much all the USB drives I have, USB sticks and whatnot in it, and I haven't noticed any trouble. I'm just sitting here thinking out loud, basically. Do I think I really have a USB issue on this machine, I don't think so. I don't think so. Of course, I hope not, but I don't think so. So, but that camera not working right. That's for it. It hasn't. It's been working. It hasn't given any trouble before. I guess if I plug it back into the Lenovo i5 and it starts acting up and losing connection like that, then I'll know that there's something wrong with it. It just decided to quit working right. But, let's see if it won't work right now. Yeah, it's showing the last thing that it saw, and if I go into the settings, it's not showing, like the last time I went in there to the device settings, it tells you there's something wrong with it. The word device turns red. Of course, I can't show you that the way, I don't have a scene where I can show you that, I don't guess. Or do I? Wait. I think I do. Do I have, oh, I know I have Endoscope and Cam 1 or Cam 2. I don't have Endoscope and desktop. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, it's just lost it twice, I mean, well, it lost it twice before I rebooted. I got it working and then it quit again. But now it's not in the list. The first time it was in the list, and I could just connect back to it. But that's not a problem I've ever had before, having that camera just quit working. So unless some twisting around on the cable, broke, jack, made a connection loose, or you twist it one way and it's working, you twist it another way and it's not working. Try to be careful about not twisting the head of it or anything, but the whole cable is meant to be bent, Mostly it's just been, but since the last time I used it, it's just been hanging up in here, and it was mounted to the tripod. and just sitting there. I haven't been messing around with it. So, of course, this is not the machine it would be. So if that was that thing is not super important right now. It was today, but I mean, this is my machine. She won't be using that endoscope, so that's not a big deal. But I'm keeping my eyes and ears open for problems, because if I thought, well, okay, so if it doesn't work, if the ASRock motherboard doesn't work right with that processor, all I have to do is buy a newer motherboard, and then that motherboard can go back with her. Well, no, she has a motherboard. That motherboard would just be available. Well, I have a processor. Oh, that's right, I have that other processor from the E-machines that I was running in it that'll work in it. Oh, and I have RAM too, yeah. I think I took it and put it in my box of RAM. But yeah, so I have a processor and RAM that could go with it. So actually that makes another AMD machine. I used to run, I ran Windows 7 on it. I ran Fedora 26 on it. But the power supply is going back. It's almost gone in that ASRock box. So it's out in the garage, just a box now. I took everything out of it except for just the power supply, you know. So actually I could build two. I need two. The power supplies are not cheap, and I'm not just going to go buy them, you know, for that stuff, for dual cores. They're not worth $50 to $65, you know, or even maybe it'd be worth $35. That'd be the most I would even consider spending to build, you know, to make a dual core work again for a power supply. And I looked at them, and when I was looking at them a couple of months ago, I didn't see any under, I think, $50. There's no point in buying one that's not powerful enough. You know, you're not going to get an old, like 350 watt. I'm going to get I really wouldn't want anything less than 450 watts, because those things are power hungry. And the thing is power supplies these days, they're will really only steadily put out about 50 watts less than what they're rated at, or more, maybe 100, depending on what brand, you know, what manufacturer it is. That's just my guesstimate, you know. I'm just trying to compare. Now the ones that were made, and the reason why the reason why power supplies are scarce is because with these old machines that I have is because in the earlier 2000s, up to probably 2010 or after, they had what they call bad cap syndrome, and lots of power supplies failed and motherboards failed because of bad capacitors that weren't manufactured well. Like that ASRock, it had bad caps on the motherboard, and it's got some swollen ones in the power supply now. They haven't busted, but it had blown caps on the motherboard. It was in the bad caps days. And so anyway, and then the other power supplies. The other thing is that they changed the design of them, so the cables and the connectors. I have some other older machines that the power supplies would be powerful enough, but they don't have the connectors. They won't plug into the motherboards of these newer machines. So like maybe I would take them out and use them, you know, or put those motherboards in those older boxes if you had the right connectors, but they don't. I mean, if they had enough power to do it. Anyway, generally, when your machines that are, you know, Pentium 4s and up, they're going to be about 350 watts generally. And that is the bottom end of what I would put on, even though they put a way smaller one on that Lenovo, that E-machines, that's part of the problem with it. I mean, that's one of the things that was wrong with it. They had a 250 watt or something in there. And it ran that, what was it, 4500E or something like that processor. But it ran terrible. It was always acting up, crashing. I thought that hard drive, one of those hard drives, that IDE hard drive, I thought it was the problem. Turned out it's the power supply. I've had that happen I finally realized it took sometimes years to figure it out because the machine kept running. But anyway, I've had at least three power supplies run on for a couple of years or more, 3 years. You know, the machines, I didn't run them all the time when they didn't. They're getting older, or if they acted up, I'd set them off to the side or out in the garage or whatever. But I'd turn them on again later, or whatever. Mess around with them. I'm just rambling. All right. So anyway, I don't know why. Whenever I get really tired, I forget that you're just rambling and just shut up. You know. I have things I want to, you know, there's a lot of things I wanted to say and I forgot during the other videos or whatever. Or I really, right now, like I said, I'm thinking out loud, but I'm just rambling out loud now. So anyway, I'll just have to keep watch on the ASR. Once I really want to get reformatted again, get Fedora 28 on it, I need to run it. I mean, I will be running it a while when I, you know, work on getting her software all set up just the way it needs to be. And all our browser add-ons again and all that sort of stuff. And I want to make sure it's going to run really good. I would really hate that if it, you know, it also needed another motherboard, because that's, of course, another $100 or so. And I'm trying not to spend, you know, a bunch of money on it for Mom, because she doesn't need the newest and fastest, but I figured, well, if I'm going to buy, it needed to be upgraded. It was a dual core, and it just wasn't going to run. I figured out that dual cores just don't handle the newer Fedora distros well enough, you know. And the Bane, they run good on the Bane, but a couple more years from now, they wouldn't be that great either. And the Bane doesn't have SC Linux, and especially for Mom's security Linux, and that saves your bacon. The Bane really, on the Bane and some of these other distros, what it relies on for security is file system permissions, you know, and that can be got around more and more these days, you know. So with SC Linux, just it's not a virus software. It's better than a virus software. I don't know exactly all the ins and outs of how it works. It's really complicated to me, but it watches the file system, and if it tries to do anything that it thinks is out of the ordinary, it just shuts it down, and it sends you a notice and says this happened, you know, and you can look through it. Use the SC Linux troubleshooter. Sorry. Worse. Well, it feels worse than usual. Well, I can kind of smell, you know, I got out there and cleaned that computer off, and anyway, I've got dust on my shirt and everything. I can smell that dust. Of course, I have that. I do this every day, though, no matter whether I just did that kind of thing or not. But anyway, SC Linux, you don't have to mess with it. Used to, you kind of had to learn something about it to keep it from stopping normal processes, but it doesn't really stop normal processes anymore. So if something does, you know, if something does hit a website, or something does somehow get on your system that tries to do something wrong, then, or if it's just a badly written program, you know, it's got some bugs in it, it won't allow it to do anything. It'll stop it. So Mom, you know, doesn't I don't know. Well, yeah, I think somebody that doesn't know how to watch out and what not to click on and stuff like that, I think they're more vulnerable than somebody that knows enough to get in trouble. I know enough to get in trouble, but I know enough. I really do try to stay out of trouble. You know, try not to do things. If I think it's risky, I won't do it. But a lot of times you don't think it's risky, you know, and you'll do it. But anyway, like the one thing that's all these years, the biggest problem I've ever had is what I've had right now, and that's this, Firefox. I've never had any trouble with any malware in a Firefox add-on, and they rebooted their whole add-on system, you know, and made everybody rewrite their add-ons to work with the new Quantum Firefox, and they said it was going to be, I read all this stuff, how it's going to be safer and better and blah, blah, blah. This right immediately as they began, the first few days they did that is when I downloaded this super bad, the only add-on in Firefox that ever led me to a malware site. That's the one I got, and the pisser about it is it's a security add-on. What I figured out is it uses the VTZilla Virus Total scanner, which scans like over 60 different scanners to scan whatever link or file you want scanned. It uses that. It's in their code. It points to it, So it did do that, but every so often, especially when my add-ons would all kind of update right there at the same, 5-10 minutes there. When I'd open up Firefox, there'd be all these tabs popping up. Thanks for updating. I have them on automatic, to say thanks for updating this add-on, that add-on, and like all my add-ons would just pop up a tab one after another, kind of bugging me because it kept doing it, because it'd be a minute or 2 or 3 between each one, however long it took it to get updated. Well, that one, it would open up this page, addonbrowser.com, and I didn't know what it's connected to. It took me, from last fall, 2017, till now, to finally, it gave me enough trouble. When it finally popped up a fake Firefox update, that's when I was like, okay, I have to investigate this and find out what is this, where does it come from? And I don't know. I'm sure it was addonbrowser.com back then, the first few times it happened. And back then, it opened up, their page with all these ads and wanted to download games. I thought, what the heck is that? I never did figure out which add-on. I figured it went with one of my add-ons, but I didn't know which one. And I thought, well, I don't like all those ads, but it, I guess I'm sure I scanned the page. The page itself shows up clean. It's the fake Firefox update. That's malware for sure. But it also opens up. And reading about it, it's actually okay. Well, I'm getting confused. But anyway, the other thing that I'm trying to say is it also opened up, and I had forgotten about that recently. But when it happened again on Mom's machine, when I found out I have it on there too, her brand new machine. It opened up Amazon pages, random Amazon pages, and let me think. I had my web browser set up to automatically log me into Amazon. I can't remember if it was logged in or not when it did that, but I darn sure wasn't going. I mean, when I see an Amazon or any kind of any site, any kind of site open up, I'm not going to just type in a password if it opened up by some sort of pop-up or tab opening or whatever, so anyway, that I'm sure they had tried to attack people with. I had let's see, one machine had about 15 Trojans in the browser cache, and I'm sure some of those were keyloggers and stuff. They could be keyloggers. So if you type in your password, they see what and probably both, like keyloggers and screen. Just like I use remote desktop all the time, VNC or TeamViewer. So they use something like that to see your, what you type, see your screen. They probably just use they could do that, but of course then they'd have to sit there and watch it, like you're watching a video. But they could just log your data and then see what website did they go to, what did they log in with, what's the username, what's the password, and then they steal your money, So and it didn't succeed. It didn't spread out through any of these machines, but still, I'm not going to take any chances because, from what I can tell, it didn't succeed. But all I've been able to scan these Linux systems with is ClamAV, and I've learned a long time ago you need to get more than one opinion. I wish you could scan your whole system with Virus Total, the scanner. I haven't looked. No, I don't think you can do that. But it makes me want to look right now before I forget. There used to be several. I don't know if there's still a bunch of them. Well, Bitdefender had one where you could scan your whole computer. Go to a Bitdefender website and scan your whole computer. Let's see. I don't guess I have VTzilla's page in here in this machine. If I go to my add-ons, I can find their page though. Oh, I don't have VTZilla. I only have AdBlock Plus on this machine. That's why, and it's not syncing or anything. So I think if I look up virus total, it keeps on asking you to do junk on Google. I'll get tired of that crap. All right. Yeah, okay, this is their page, virustotal.com, and see, you can go here and you can, I'm going to put that in my bookmarks toolbar so I can use it if I want. You can upload a file, or you can put in a URL and a web address, or you can search for a URL or an IP address or a domain, or it says file hash. I don't know exactly how you would search for a file hash, but I mean, the only thing I know about them is just like when you want to find your password in your Windows system so you can change it because you lost it or whatever, or somebody gives you a machine and you don't know the password. You have a password hash, you know, that programs can decipher. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I don't see anything that says scan. But Bitdefender, okay, the Bitdefender rescue system can mount a domain file system, but it can't mount a Fedora LVM. So it's no use to scan a Fedora system, but I did use it, and it was very helpful because it gave me two opinions at least. With VTZilla, I've showed it quite a few other times. Let's say if I chose a file, I haven't showed this before, but let's see. I don't want to do a video, pictures. I'll just do a screenshot. Well, it did it. Confirm file upload. So I did my last screenshot. So it will scan it. And this is really a handy thing. I didn't even realize that you had this ability until all this went on. I just use the add-on and right-click and scan a link. That's what I do. Because the add-on, that's what it's for, is to scan links. But see, it's up to 8, so it's scanning all these different virus scanners. It's using all these different ones. Some of them I had never have heard of before, but see, there's one of them, Clam AV, the one that runs on Linux. I see, oh, there's 2 rows. There's Komodo, the Chinese one, which I wouldn't trust them. But AdAware, that's one I used to use on Windows for years. I think I just saw a VAST, my favorite. Oh, a Vira. VAST is probably, there's a VAST right there. They're kind of jumping around. Oh, and then also a VAST Mobile Security. And a Vira is one I have used before years ago. And F-Secure, one of the oldest ones out there. F-Prot, that's also a very old one. And pages jumping around. I guess it wasn't done scanning. So this time it doesn't always use the same amount of scanners. I don't know how that exactly works. Sometimes it's 60, 65 scanners. This time it's 55 scanners. But Kaspersky or Kaspersky, I call it Kaspersky because that's what it looked like to me. Still do that. Malwarebytes, McAfee. That was one of the first ones I used to buy that every year. And Panda, that's one of the newer ones from China again. And I don't know, they have good reputations, the Panda and the other one, but I still feel a little bit, you know, as well known as China is for hacking everything and everybody, how would you really trust their malware scanners? They're probably just adding malware. I'm afraid they're adding malware to your system. Symantec, then I quit using McAfee and started using Symantec and Symantec, and paid for that for years. And one's called DHacker. And VBA32, I've used that. I didn't know that there's a rescue system called VBA32. Yandex. I thought that was just a Russian search engine, but I guess they have Zone Alarm, that was a, I guess they have a virus scanner. That was a firewall. Used to be a free firewall. So, and then the others, well, that one timed out, unable to process the file. Well, they all said that, unable and timeout. When you're scanning links, it usually say that there's no, this one doesn't have any information on that site, but this is an actual file. So, of course, I knew the file would be clean because it's just a screenshot of my system. I mean, well, if you did a screenshot and it was infected, then you really do have problems on your system. And then there's properties and stuff. Okay, I haven't ever paid it. Well, I don't know if I've ever scanned a file with this one. I used to use some other ones. But there, of course, a picture is not a big deal. One, like, screenshot on your system. But, well, images that someone sent you, of course, Windows, any kind of executable Windows install file, Windows or Linux, you can do that. And votes. Of course, there's no votes on this file because what did I send them? I just did it without paying any attention to what I was sending them. That was not too smart necessarily because there's no telling what I sent them. Okay, that's all it was. Why did I make a screenshot of that? Oh, it's about the backup videos when I was bad secondary stream. Oh, okay. Yeah, when I was trying to learn how to do backup streams, I did make that work. This system was sending up the backup stream, and then my Lenovo Wi-Fi was sending out the mainstream. I did that the other day, but anyway, I haven't looked. But they online, I don't know how to say it, online virus scan. Yeah, Trend Micro. Okay, I guess they still do it. ESET, F-Secure. F-Secure, it just deletes, but that is one of the, they have one too. I guess I should check into that because, well, used to, you had to have Internet Explorer always to use them, so you still couldn't use them on a Linux system. But the thing is, these are all geared towards Windows, and it might just completely break your, even if it'll run, it may break your Linux system. I would have to. But they used to have a lot of them where they would just scan your system live. Well, the thing is, it's not as effective, though, to try to scan a running system. I guess that's one reason why they kind of went away. Clean your PC for free. Well, I'm not going to click on it right now. I don't know what it'll do. But it says it'll do it. Scan. It says it's looks like it's one that would actually. That's secure. If you're running Windows and you do an online scanner, you're probably going to break your system because it's just going to delete everything to be safe. This is one of them, a house call. I think this is one where you have to install a little, kind of like a browser add-on type of thing. Oh no, I don't think that's not going to be an online scan. I don't know if that's an online scan or not. I can still do that when I need to. I forgot to go look. That's why I thought, well, I'll do it right now. It won't go away. I want a free one-time scan. Of course, they're only going to give you like a real basic scan too, so it's not much good. I don't like messing with stuff like that. There it is, ESET online scanner. Some of these are not going to be, you got to watch out too, because I'm just clicking on these links and gotta watch out because that's also how they'll get you. I wasn't paying a lot of attention since I don't have anything on here to, other than the Firefox built-in thing to tell you this is a bad site, but it's not always going to catch it, It could be something that just got built today. So yeah, when you do a search, actually when you do a search looking for virus software, you better watch out because that's one of the ways they try to get you. That one's not coming up. Kaspersky, you would think it would come right up. Then Norton, 5 Best, online. I'll just stop there. Let's see, Norton. That's a download. I don't know. I used Norton before too. How old is this article? 5 Best. Those are helpful usually. When you really can't just take somebody's word for it, but they may just, a lot of them will be what I just showed you. You just upload a file or something. I don't know. Oh, Jotty, yeah, that's what that is. That's one of the ones I use so much. That's probably what this is. This article's about VirusTotal. Yeah, upload a file. So without even reading that, I know what that does. But some of these I think actually do scan your system. Yeah, scan PCs. So that's something I might actually want to do. I could try it. I mean, I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to. Well, I'd have to cancel it because I'm ready to get off of here. But that might be an answer for anybody. Me. Anybody that needs. Well, like I said before, I just couldn't use them because they didn't make them work with Firefox even, you know, for they had to work on Internet Explorer. Of course, now Windows, I guess they've retired it, or they're about to retire Internet Explorer. And most things are a lot more cross-browser compatible these days. So, you know, I would think I know a lot of stuff works on Firefox. It didn't used to. But I always forget that I don't have it. Ever since I quit letting it save cookies, I have to log in every time I close the browser and open it, or especially when you reboot. Sometimes it'll keep it throughout a session, like if you close the browser and open it, and sometimes you have to. Every time I close the browser, so anyway, yeah, that's something I had thought about and then forgot. Let's see, what have I got? Yeah, see, I actually have 1, 2, 3 streams plus the one I'm doing right now. And actually, the only one that actually worked was the one I'm doing right now. So, one of them was really short. I got going and it was not that one. I think I got going and it had poor health, so I stopped it. So anyway, thought I was quitting a while ago and I kept talking and thought of more stuff. But yeah, all I've used, and I think I thought about the online scanners and then never remembered to go look. But I don't know if any of them would work. But I've used ClamAV and Bitdefender, and as far as on the mom system and my Lenovo i5, all I used was ClamAV several times. But in mom's, I did do it in a rescue mode because I downloaded Fedora 28 live security, and it doesn't have ClamAV on it, but I booted it, live system, and then installed ClamAV in the live system and scanned her system. And hers being an 8-core with 8 gig of RAM, it could handle it, and I've tried that before, and machines will lock up on you and stuff. Most of the time it doesn't finish because the machine runs out of RAM, or actually, and you got to pay attention how much you can install stuff in live systems like that, and it'll just be gone the next time you reboot, of course. But there's only it depends on how much space your live system has on its kind of like virtual or hard drive or live hard drive or whatever you want to call it, the live system. If it's enough, because you'll fill it up and then it'll just lock up. So I did do that, and so it wasn't that way. The operating system wasn't running, so that if there was something that was in there infecting it, and it was able to hide in the running operating system, just like Windows, then I wouldn't have that going on. But that's still just one scanner. It is a good one, the Clam AV. But yeah, that's something I'll need to check into again. I mean, I'm reformatting these things, but still I'd like to check into it to see if it could be an option. So, but you don't have to be really careful because you've got a system that's running well. I mean, you wouldn't want to just try it on a good system. You might want to try that out on a system that's kind of a throwaway system. You could do it in a virtual machine or something, I guess, because if it's some of them used to you could just tell it to either automatically delete it or just report and stuff like that. Well, now a lot of them I guess they figure people can't figure that complicated stuff out, so it just deletes. And then I mean, I remember it would usually tell you a little warning, this may delete, like in Windows, if you're running Windows, this may delete your system files that may break your system, but they offer no assistance or links to anything to tell you how to fix your broken system, And so all that's really good. And it will, and most of the time if you're infected, it's going to break your system, especially in Windows. Well, the thing I'm worried about with Linux is if those scanners see Linux system files as being broken executables and so on, like Clam AV does, and it's just gonna, if it just deletes them, then for sure it's gonna break your system. Of course, it couldn't delete all that stuff in the root directory, that needs root permissions. It wouldn't let it. But anyway, it depends on if you're able to basically control that online scan or not. If it's just gonna take control and that's really putting a lot of trust in that website. So you better be very careful about what website you're going to. It's like if it looks like it's a well-known virus scanner, make sure it really is that website and all that stuff. And that's kind of hard to do sometimes because it's easy to spoof those URLs and all that stuff. And make these fake websites are such a problem these days. It's kind of hard to trust something like that. So anyway, I'm tired now. Now, my little snack did help, but now it's completely gone, and I'm just bushed, starving again, and all that stuff. So I gotta eat. I feel like I just want to crawl right in the shower. I just feel, I guess I got more left. I didn't realize. I don't know how you can. I don't know why I wouldn't feel it earlier, but now I just feels as if I'm covered in dust. Maybe it's just a feeling I have because I know I was in it. But we see when I carried that thing out there, I had the fan going. And of course, the way I had the fan is where to blow on me. Well, when I went to set that Lenovo i5 on my little spot where I was going to clean it in front of the vacuum, well, it went in front of the fan first, so that dust went like that, So then I got in front of the fan and let it blow me off as much as I could. But anyway, actually physical or more mental, I feel dusty. And I'm hungry now. So anyway, I'm going to go and I've lost all track of what I've got going on. Well, I do know that I'm not going to be able to I can't put 2 hard drives in that Lenovo i5. I got to remember that. I kept thinking I probably could. I thought I had figured out that I could, but you can't. It doesn't even have the proper. Well, I probably was thinking, well, it could use I had forgotten. I mean, you really could use a Y adapter on the power cable, and then it does have the extra SATA. You could do it, but I don't think I don't want to. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think the power supply is going to keep up with, and I think it'll overheat that little bitty box with one fan in it, the only fan and it's sucking air across the processor. So that's trying to add more heat to that little bitty box, I think, would be a real bad idea. So after looking in it for quite a while there, if you want to, if you're going to add more things to a machine and it's it's going to make more heat, then you want something that has some good airflow and can make sure it doesn't overheat, because overheating will. It might run okay for a while, you won't notice anything, but then the CPU paste will dry up, and then it'll just start crashing. And And then if you don't know that that's, or if you just forget, that might be the thing. You don't know what's wrong with it, you know. So and maybe you'll, like me, I would forget, and then I would have a real bad headache with it, and then finally I would say, oh yeah, it's probably overheating. At some point I would figure that out. I mean, why make yourself go through all that, right? Okay, so I'll just put Fedora 28 on it, and I can use my virtual machines for XP, and I could try Windows 7. I haven't ever tried it, but I could do that. In this one, I could use this at Windows 7 license on the machine that it belongs to. In the virtual machine, the virtual machines don't really copy, you know, like the machine you're on. I don't know. You can actually change, like, I want to use so-and-so type of video adapter instead of, I just use the defaults. But you can, in virtual machines, you can, in VirtualBox, you can say, well, I want to use this kind of video, virtual video adapter, or this kind of sound card, or so-and-so. I've messed around with that a little bit, but generally the defaults are just great. They're fine. But you can't just say, okay, this is what I have in the real hardware, because that's why I was doing it. I wanted to say, okay, this is what the real hardware is, so I want to change all the settings in the virtual machine to be what my real hardware is. Well, there's not that many different ones available. You can't really do that, at least not with the machines I had. So, point being, well, I don't know why I got off on that, but Windows 7. The thing about Windows 7 is it runs good on a quad core with 4 gig of RAM, but in the virtual machine, then I would have to give it at least 2 gig of RAM, which would be half the RAM. It only has 256 megabyte of video, so you got to give it video memory. So which comes out of, I'm not sure if it actually uses your GPU or it just uses your memory for that. I'd have to investigate that. But if it uses your GPU, I don't have no GPU to spare, so I couldn't do that. You know, XP doesn't need much. I gave it like 32 megabytes. It's fine, you know. And then I don't remember. I think I gave it a gig of RAM. I mean, it runs good, you know, in there, unless you run too many other processes, and the machine will slow down pretty quickly. But by itself, like if you just have the machine running and you just running XP in the virtual machine, oh, it's fast, you know, run with a gig of RAM. I might have gave it 64 megabyte of video. I think I did. Yeah, I'd have to look. There's a way. Well, when you look in the hardware monitors, I don't think you could tell though. Like say, yeah, there's not a GPU monitor in here, so you couldn't really tell. All you could do is maybe if you could do your math, you know, like okay, this is how much is running right now. Say 1.4 gigabyte, 7.8 gigabyte. Start up your virtual machine, and then see. Well, if it's using more than you have allotted in RAM, then the rest has got to be the video, right? Okay, so that would be a way to tell. Maybe it kind of seems like I remember them doing that, so maybe they do use your RAM and not tax your GPU. I don't know. That's something you need to learn. So anyway, XP's fine. As far as my XP, my virtual machines are still getting security updates until 2019 because I set them up as Win terms, basically, like I was talking about, like this machine here is. But commercial versions of XP get security updates until 2019. You probably never heard of that, but they do. So, unless you've heard me say that before, I say it all the time. But anyway, you have to set it up that way. You have to change your registry to make it do that. But it works in XP Pro. I don't think I tried it in XP Home and it just didn't do anything. So I don't think it works in XP Home. And then Windows 7, I'm not sure. I forgot how long. I'm not sure how long their security updates will go, but I know it's a few more years. So. And Windows 10, I mean, you could, as far as I know, you can still get it for free and all that stuff. And like upgraded 7 system to 10 or whatever. But actually, you can just install it, because I did. I downloaded the ISO and then just did a straight install for somebody that their system had Windows 10 on it, and it crashed from a Windows 10 update. It broke it, and you couldn't do an upgrade. It was broken, so we just reformatted and reinstalled, and you were able to download the Windows 10 ISO from the Windows web, Microsoft website. But I don't like all that extra. It's all that extra tracking and all that in Windows 10, and I figure it probably uses a little more resources than 7. I have to check into that. It might not. But anyway, that would be the next option. All right, I'm going to go because I just can't seem to quit rambling, so I'm going to have to say, let's go somewhere. Yeah, that's my CD. I got it out with the Windows 7 Pro, or my DVD, I mean. Actually, I've got 2 of them in there. I downloaded the ISOs from Microsoft a while back, a couple of years ago. And I have Home and Pro, because I have machines with licenses for both. But anyway, I'm going to go on. Bye-bye.